So good morning, and thank you for joining the Public Building Commission of Chicago's YouTube live page. My name is Patricia Montenegro, Deputy Director of Procurement here at the PBC. Today is September 16, 2025, and you're joining the pre-submission conference for the Construction Document Printing and Online Hosting Services Solicitation, PS 3098, that was issued on August 28th, 2025. So welcome. We're going to go over a few housekeeping rules before we begin here. Give me a moment as I navigate to my other screen. We want to ensure that you mute your computers and your cell phones. And when asked to speak, you can go ahead and press the asterisk with the number 6, and that should unmute you if you cannot find your unmute button quickly. Please change your screen name. So it's going to be your full name, first and last, and then followed by your company name or initials, as seen in the example there. And then to the chat, you will also add your first and last name in addition to the company name or initials, just for extra added attendance record purposes. Okay. All right. And then for questions and answers, we're going to have Q&A sessions during the presentation. So we're going to ask that you please hold your questions until we ask for that time. And then you're also free to use the chat feature to ask the questions. Okay. The agenda will go as follows. We'll have introductions of the PBC team members, as well as those who have joined us, and then a review of the scope of services, along with procurement details and the RFP highlights. And then we will also go over compliance highlights and then end with questions and answers. Okay. So the role of the selected respondent will be to provide printing, binding, electronic transmission, and/or delivery of issue for bid documents for the PBC. So we are a public developer, and we are tasked by our clients essentially to procure work on their behalf, and that would include oftentimes construction, right, of municipal buildings and facilities. So therefore, we put out issue for bid documents, which consist of Book 1, instructions to bidders, Book 2, the terms and conditions, and then drawings and any other documents related to the solicitation. You would provide online hosting services of those issue for bid documents by placing them on an online plan room. And then the RFP also speaks to any additional printing services that you offer that you would propose that we would then seek for services. The term of the contract is anticipated to be a 3-year term period with the option to extend for up to 2 additional 1-year periods. Okay. The selected respondent will be issued a task order with a distribution list. This information is found in the RFP document, and it will include details regarding the project that this is for, the not to exceed amount, and any additional information that would also be found on the distribution list. The distribution list will consist of all of the parties who will receive a copy of these documents, name, email addresses, phone numbers, and then there's the categories of the different pieces of information that would be distributed. The second part of the distribution list will include the details not found on that first page in specifics to like the book 1, book 2, book 3 drawings and addendas or any additional documents that may be found. So those would include whether, you know, the book 1 goes double-sided or not, and things of that nature, how the document should be stapled or bound. Okay. And so before we proceed to the procurement details, we will go ahead and introduce our team and then those who are joining us. So I'll start with James as I see him on the screen.
Good morning, everybody. James Borkman, BBC Procurement.
Bryant? Okay. Mary Pat?
Hi, Mary Pat Witchery, PBC Board Governance.
Thank you. Tanya? Okay. Patrice?
Good morning. Tanya Fouché, Weekly, PBC Finance.
Thank you, Tanya.
Good morning, Patrice Dole, Compliance, PBC.
James, is that all of our team? I don't see any other members at the moment, at least from my view.
That's everybody on my end.
Okay, great.
We also have Greg, Sarah, and Craig joining us. Very nice.
Okay, so I see David. David, can you introduce yourself and who you're with? Oh, you're on mute, sir. Okay. David, you're on mute.
There you go. Now you got me.
Yes.
All right, morning. David over at BHFX in Chicago. We worked with you guys many, many moons ago and eager for the opportunity and excited to try to earn your business back.
Great, thank you. Sarah?
Hi, good morning. I am also with BHFX and look forward to the opportunity as well.
Thank you. Greg?
Hi, I'm Craig. I'm also with BHFX.
Thank you. I did see someone else. I think Minnie joined us. Minnie Keys is with our team, our procurement team. Okay, great. I don't see anyone else. Oh, Craig? Did I introduce you? I'm sorry.
Also with BHFX.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you. Okay. We'll proceed with the procurement timeline. So essentially the RFP was issued again Thursday, August 28th, pre-submission conference, and well, there's no site visit for this one, so I'll correct that. But it's today, Tuesday, September 16th, 10 a.m. There is a questions deadline for Friday, September 19th. So anything that hasn't been cleared up or anything, we want to just make sure that you submit your questions by Friday, September 19th at noon. Submission deadline is Tuesday, September 30th by 11 a.m. So we want to make sure that you submit your proposals by 11 a.m. We want to just remind everyone that we're in a digital age and that oftentimes, you know, the transmission of the documents may incur a delay. So we want to ensure that your proposals are submitted by the 11 o'clock mark. And then any oral presentations together with the evaluation period will be held between October 2nd through October 29th of 2025. Oral presentations if necessary. And then we intend on recommending to our board on in November at our PBC Board of Commissioners meeting. Documents are available on the current opportunities page, as I'm sure you guys are well aware of. The RFP document is also available on the website. It includes forms and exhibits. So all of the materials should be in that one document. This PowerPoint presentation, along with the sign-in sheet of those who attended, will also live on that page. And then any addenda that are issued, again, will also live on that page. Documents are also available with our assist agencies. If that print is too tiny, you may click on the link. Once you get this PowerPoint, you may click on the link, and that link will always host the latest and greatest assist agencies directory. Again, questions deadline by Friday, September 19th at noon, and then no addenda have been issued to date. Okay, so we'll go into the RFP. So oftentimes, it's the solicitation can be a little bit intimidating, so we just want to make sure that we break it down for you so you understand the different parts of it. And so the first part will be the introduction about the PBC and who we are, then the key information regarding this procurement, any definitions, for keywords related to the solicitation, the in-depth scope of services, the task order requests and acceptance is outlined in this document as well, in addition to the evaluation criteria, submission requirements, the submission checklist, attachments, forms, and exhibits. It will also include anticipated contractual obligations listed in the RFP regarding work product, MBE, WBE participation, which we'll talk in depth in just a bit, joint venture partnerships as well, and then any insurance requirements. Okay, so the RFP includes your cost proposal. So essentially it consists of 3 different documents, and we are asking that you please ensure that you provide a price for every single line item. If there is no cost, you would indicate so with an NA. We'll be highlighting the different documents that are extremely vital to the submission, right? Your Form A, legal actions, if there have been any legal actions with your agency, James, who will be checking to ensure that he'll be reviewing this document, so we want to make sure that you complete it, and he will be reviewing the information. So if there's a yes, a no, we need to understand where you're at in terms of any legal actions. Form D will be reviewed by our MBE and WBE Director of Compliance. And we ask that you provide, right, information related to 3 projects, right, that you have met previous participation in. And if you want to set yourself apart, right, in your submission, we want to make sure that we complete this little box here to the right-hand side, stating what your commitment is and how you intend on complying with this portion of the contract. Patrice will go into further detail on it. There's the Form E, which consists of the references form. And so again, 3 different references Please make sure that you provide all the information in all of the fields. If you do have a reference letter, please indicate so here and submit it along with this form. But we definitely want to see this form completed in its entirety with 3 different references. And I do want to highlight that current employees of the PBC are prohibited from being included as references. We also want to ensure that you are aware of what your reference is gonna say and make sure that you guys are on the same page in terms of how well or not well you did for them. Because oftentimes we receive references that are not favorable. So there was a disconnect apparently with what you believed you offered as a service and how well you did to that of which was submitted. So we want to make sure that that you're on the same page with your references. Okay. Oh, pardon me. Then there are additional forms that while we don't have visuals on them, they are equally important, if not more so. And we want to make sure that we bring awareness to them. And that is your Form B, disclosure affidavit, your Form C, disclosure of retained parties, and your Exhibit D, Schedule B, joint venture affidavit, if it's applicable. Okay. PBC highly encourages JV partnerships, and it can be in any combination of NBE, WBE, or non-NBE and WBE, joining with an NBE, WBE, etc. If you are going to be submitting as a joint venture, you are then required to submit the following documents. So again, it's that Schedule B found within Exhibit D, and then joint venture agreement in draft form is okay. And then certification letters if the joint venture party is a NBE, WBE. The evaluation criteria is also identified within the RFP document, and these are the percentages that are assigned to each evaluation criteria. So I will go into detail here with regards to that. Please allow me to switch the screen here for a moment. But your technical competence and experience of key personnel, essentially, we want your firm to demonstrate the experience in providing the high volume of services described in the scope of services. Your administration, the way you're organized, your staffing of your firm, if you have multiple offices, the technology and equipment that your firm has available to meet the needs of the PBC, the capacity of the to employ qualified and experienced key personnel. You should also be licensed in the state of Illinois, city of Chicago, or anywhere else. We'd like to see that. Key personnel, we would want to see their resumes of the key personnel that will be fulfilling the roles, right? And then we would like to see an organizational chart. So that has a weight of 20%. Past performance has a weight of 25%, and here, again, we want you to provide and demonstrate experience in past performance, providing the services comparable to the services requested in the RFP. So particularly any work with government agencies is nice to highlight as well. So 5 projects within the last 3 years. It would also be good to note your performance during compressed schedules. So if at the end of the day we were to say, hey, BHFX, can you please upload these by the end of the day and print them out for tomorrow? That type of experience, dealing with compressed schedules. References, again, a weight of 3%. No references can be PBC employees. The pricing, so the schedule or cost proposal that you submit, that has a very high weight of 20%. So we'll be reviewing that as well. Minority and women-owned business participation has a weight of 10%. We want to make sure that you complete the form in its entirety, that you also provide, demonstrated commitment to fulfilling MBE and WBE participation. Financial capacity, we have a weight of 15%. We want to make sure that firms provide their financial statements. And for this one, we'll talk a little bit about the submission requirements a little bit later, but we want to make sure that those financial documents are submitted separately, right, within the same email. And then responsiveness of your overall submission, or the quality and the completeness and the comprehensiveness and understanding of the RFQ, how you complete it. While it has a very small weight, please understand that when you're up against, right, so you're submitting and we're determining who these service providers will be, because we haven't really decided on how many we will be selecting, but it's up to 4 firms. So if you are at if we receive 5 submissions and we're trying to determine, like, really capping it at 4, this 2% is actually really important on how you submit, right? How you the instructions that you're going to be following to submit the document, right? The order, the completeness of the document. There's other criteria found in the RFP too. You're understanding the contract terms and conditions and compliance with insurance requirements. Those also play into the responsiveness of the RFQ. Okay. Back. Switching my screen. So when the submissions are received, there will be an evaluation team, and they will independently review the submission. So this is very important, because I know, we have BHFX here, who, yes, we have had as a service provider, right? And but the evaluation team, and so we may know you, right? But the evaluation team does not, right? And so there's sometimes firms who submit kind of take it for granted and say, okay, I'll submit this, I'll submit that. They already have this on file. They know us, they know we do good work. Well, James and I might know that, but the evaluation team, who is really dedicated to ensuring, right, that we as an agency are obtaining the best firms, right, for these services, right? They're the ones that are going to review. So you're going to have to be able to articulate that, right, in your RFP response. We'll score them based on the weight assigned each criteria and then rank highest to lowest. They'll discuss the findings and agree on an overall consensus score that will help determine who those selected respondents will be. And then again, the selected respondents may be invited to interview. So those are the oral presentations that we spoke about at the beginning. And then the final recommendation is then submitted to the PBC Board of Commissioners for approval at the PBC Board of Commissioners meeting, as we relayed earlier. And then we intend to issue notice of award following that meeting. So your RFP submission, we are asking for one complete copy of the RFP, original signatures in blue ink or digital signature, tabbed and in the order prescribed in the submission requirements in the checklist. And then the PDF should be a single searchable PDF form and not a scanned copy. So what does that mean? So when you are opening up your PDF document, you should be able to Control F and find keywords within the solicitation document, right? So that is exactly what we're asking when you're returning it back to us, that it remain in a PDF file, that it is completely searchable, and that it is not a scanned copy. Well, what do we do with the licenses and such? Exactly. So if it's a license, something that is scanned, it is a copy of that document, you're going to then merge it into the document and bringing together like one cohesive document. And it must be labeled as follows. As seen here on the screen, this information is also in your RFP document. It's really helpful to see the document come back labeled as follows. And then this one entire document, along with your financial document, should be emailed to the pbc-procurement@cityofchicago.org email, as well as the patricia.montenegro@cityofchicago.org email. So 2 documents, right? You'll have your complete RFP submission, the financial documents that have been excluded from the RFP submission, right? So 2 documents within one email. If those documents are too large to send, you may include them in a secure link within that email and just say, hey, the documents were too large, please find the link below, etc. And we will receive them in that manner as well. Copies of the exhibits are not required as part of the submission. So anything, past the exhibit section, we don't need. With the exception of the JV Schedule B document, if it applies. Financial statements, 3 years of financial statements, marked as confidential, emailed as a separate secure file. Within that one email, that should clarify that. Okay. And then the checklist, we also include just as an extra measure for your team to ensure that you're including everything. So, oftentimes we see firms, using the check boxes here to confirm that they have included everything within the document. So hopefully this proves helpful for your team as well. So most of you, I'm assuming, received this via a PBC alerts, but BHFX, if you can have multiple members of your team sign up, and that's okay because the more the merrier, the more who receive the information, the better it is, the more informed your team is. We also have a new feature, which is our text alert feature, that we often use along with the PBC alert. So feel free to resubscribe so that you can receive text messages as well. Okay, so I'll pause there and see if we have any questions with regards to the first half of the meeting. And do we have any questions in the chat, James? No? James has left.
No questions in the chat, Patty.
Okay, I think, and then just for those attending, some of our team members had to leave for a meeting. So just for awareness. And thank you, Patrice. All right, at this time, I will turn it over to Patrice, who will go over compliance highlights.
morning. So the MBE, WBE requirement is, as Patty stated, there's a 30% aggregate goal, which can be met by either an MBE, a WBE, or a combination of both MBEs and WBEs. We only accept certification from City of Chicago or Cook County. I know other municipalities have certifications, but here at the PBC, we only accept City of Chicago or Cook County certifications, and they should be they must be certified in the work that they're performing on the project.
Okay.
And we encourage joint ventures, we think it is a great way for companies to grow their business, for MBEs and WBEs to have an opportunity to succeed. If you decide to do a joint venture with an MBE or a WBE, you have to submit this form, the Schedule B. You do not have to submit the contract agreement at the time, but you should complete this form identifying the roles of each firm and as well as the percentages of each firm on this Schedule B. And again, only if you're deciding to do a joint venture to submit this form. If you do decide, the contract agreement is not needed until you have been awarded the contract.
And I do want to emphasize, because I didn't screenshot all three, but there are 3 pages to this document, so we want to make sure that you're aware of that. All three pages of this Schedule B are required.
After award, we have our MBE and WBE forms, which is our Schedule D, as well as our Schedule C form. The Schedule D form,
I will not have. I
oh, you
didn't-
don't have a
yeah.
picture of it? All right.
Mhm.
The Schedule D identifies the credit amount of the MBE or WBE firm, and the Schedule C identifies the MBE and WBE and their performance of work. I would like to state, make sure that you're checking the certifications from the city and the county. If a firm is a graduate of the program, meaning they're an established business, they still are an MBE or WBE, but they are an established business. You make sure you identify their credit amount for first year MBEs or WBEs that are graduating is 75% credit. For second year is 50%, and for the third year is 25%. And it does indicate in the services that's provided. So they may provide more than one service, and they may have graduated from only one service. So make sure you check their certification to ensure that you're receiving the correct credit amount. And also make sure that you that they are certified in the scope of work that they will perform for your firm. All right, Patty, back to you.
Okay. So I would like to remind everyone that I am the sole point of contact for this solicitation. So any questions, any conversations would be submitted in writing and directed to my attention at patricia.montenegro@cityofchicago.org. Any questions from the team that is present on the call?
No, I gotta say, we do a lot of these bids. I've been at this for 27 years, and we have 4 people, reading it. We like to have extra sets of eyes on things and then collaborate at the end. This is the most thorough, accurate, easy to read bid for a print provider I've ever seen. So this certainly isn't your first rodeo, but we're going to comb through it. We're going to have a collaboration, at the tail end of this week. Maybe we'll have questions, but it is very straightforward and very easy to do. So